Excellent. Follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Juan, would you please?
We're going to bow our heads for a minute. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, Lord, and we have a special change of command ceremony, and we're wishing Andre taking over the command, give him the resources that he needs to be productive, give him the wisdom that he needs to lead the group. Lord, and we just pray and lift up this time. Be with our soldiers, Lord, and their families, and protect them, we pray. And we pray for our freedoms in the United States. Amen.
Thank you, Lon. Everybody be
You
seated,
said to lead
please.
the group. Does that mean he can take my job?
Did I say the group? Mark?
Okay, tonight we have a couple of nice, interesting things to talk about, to do. We have a change of command to the new commander. We also have a promotion for Mr. Younger. That'll be after the change of command. And we have a new aircraft to talk about. Lon, you want to talk about the new aircraft for about a minute?
Okay, sure.
And then we'll bring the commander, group commander on board here.
So, I don't know all the background details, but we've been loaned this 206. It's very similar to the 206 Zelda that
Correct.
we got to know and love. But that one's gone now. The difference is this one has round dials in it. It
Right.
does not have a G500. It has a G400 on the kind of the top right-hand side. You can see it there. From what I understand, it needs an oil change, and so it's queued up to go over into the maintenance shop and get the oil changed. Plus, the Becker is not working, and some other electronic device needs to be looked at also.
So you're saying they loaned us a broken airplane? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they sent us
I
another
know
broken airplane.
I know nothing. I know nothing.
No, so we're gonna be apparently having this plane for some period of time. The other one that we just started getting used to, the 743 Charlie Papa 182 with the G1000 in it. Apparently, they're trying to make up their mind where to put that one, but apparently it's not going to be here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be transferred someplace else, so that's why we got the 206.
And our turbo, 437, we're still waiting on the engine to come back from the shop.
Right?
So it's been gone for like, what, 5 months now?
Yeah.
So
The way I understand it,
anxiously waiting that to return, and then it'll be a couple weeks for the maintenance shop to get it installed and checked out. And we have like an hour flight scheduled. Terry is gonna fly that flight.
and then we got 10 other hours we got to use for break-in too. But Terry's going to try to do all the break-in at IPL, so
Right.
we've got that in the background working. So the way I understand it is the engine's supposed to be shipped here sometime this week.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything. They're going to receive it. They'll put it in the hangar, and when their workload gets level, then they're going to start on it. Come on in. And sign-in sheets right there. So the engine's going to get here sometime this week, and it'll be at least a couple of weeks until they get it put in and ready to do a test flight. So.
So I've been Form 5'd in round dial, I've been Form 5'd in the turbo, I've been Form 5'd in, the 182, G1000. So what do we need? Form 5, just a typical Form 5?
Do you have a Form 5 in Zelda?
No.
Because it's the same thing. It's a U206. So you have
Yeah,
to get a
but the
Form 5
avionic-
in this one.
The avionics are different.
Right. Remember, you only have to get a Form 5 once in it. And then the next time if you need to get a Form 5, you get it in a G1000 aircraft and it trickles down. Everything below that you're good for. But you have to get one Form 5 in every type of aircraft.
So I've been Form 5 in the turbo,
Right.
206.
Still, you have to get a Form 5 in this aircraft. So check it out with Terry and make sure I'm right, but I think I am. So Anyway, now that we've got some more of our people in, tonight we're going to do a change of command and a couple other items. So tonight we have our group commander, Mr. Ken Benner, Major Ken Benner. I'm sorry. He can come up and he'll lead us in the change of command proceedings. Might have a few words before that.
Thanks for being here. Let's do it.
Hey,
Officers, center.
Got
Delete that part. Colonel Swift, do you relinquish command of Senior Squadron 5?
I relinquish command.
Lieutenant Tikhonov, do you assume command of Senior Squadron 5?
I assume the command.
Officers, post.
So our new commander will take over now, and unless our group commander has things to talk about.
Yeah, let me do a couple quick things here before we do go to that next step.
You hit the stuff. I didn't hit it.
A few things here. Colonel Swift, known you for a very long time. I think you've been commander all of the time I've known you. At least that's what it seems like. Appreciate you and all the hard work you put in. I have a nice little extra ribbon for you because you needed one, and achievement award from you.
Oh, thank you very much. Woo!
You know, one more deal for you.
Uh-oh.
You get
I already got one of those.
you got a group 3?
Yeah.
Do you? Well, you get a second one. You can
Thank
sell
you
it.
very much.
You can
It's
sell
a-
it for
it's a-
$1,000.
It's a coin, by the way. So
And
thank you very much.
Lieutenant Tikhonov,
Yes, sir.
sir, thank you very much for assuming command of the squadron. I appreciate it. It's a big step. It's a big responsibility. And since I'm not going to be commander when you're finished with the command, I'm going to give you a Group 3 command point now.
Thank you very
So
much.
thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the trust.
Thank you very much. So go ahead.
You're in charge.
Okay.
This is your squadron now, buddy. See ya.
Today we have a promotion. Senior member Younger is being promoted to second lieutenant. Senior member Younger. from
Front
the
and center, please. Thank you. He's being promoted from a senior member to a second lieutenant, right? If I can get the,
Something like that.
he's
could you
blind
not
tonight.
starch these so much?
Can we lean over for you a little bit?
I gotta get a stool way taller than I am.
How was that?
What is wrong with this?
I gave you the tough one.
Yeah, that's it, I'm gonna start over. Gotta be done already. What's wrong with it? Let me go with that.
He's a commander. He knows how to do that.
Yeah.
That's right.
I practiced.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Can't see you, can't hear.
What?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Turn to your commander. Salute. Thank you. Good job. Good job.
Wings of Core Powers. All right. Thank you very much, Squadron. I hope I will do my best. I promise that to lead the squadron and help each and every member in every aspect of professional development, selecting a specialty track, helping you getting to the destination you selected within the squadron and in civil air patrol organization. So please reach out to me anytime. You can look up my information, my contact information on membership system, but I can definitely post it on our Teams channel anytime, day, night. My nights are short and days are long. So. All right. So, any questions, comments, anything? So far,
But you have 50 minutes more to go, so.
Seriously, thank you, sir, for taking this on. It's can be stressful but fun, and there's just a lot to it. So I hope you enjoy it.
And you're not alone. I'm in this
No,
with
I'm
you.
definitely
so.
not alone. I count on every single member of the squadron, as much as you count on me. So, we can talk quickly about membership system and how we can actually submit our requests for qualifications for selecting specialty trucks. Does everybody have clear idea how it works? Anybody who would like to get clarifications, what to do, how to become, let's say, a mission scanner, what steps involved? But I'll take it as the fact that we need help in this regard, and maybe somebody can put screen on the TV. Chris, can you help with that?
Oh, sorry. I was doing attendance over here. Hang on a second.
So the most important tool which we're going to use in our professional development and in qualifications is learn how to use e-services with Civil Air Patrol. It takes some time to get used to it, and we talked about it a number of times. We talked about Wimmer's system, which deals with mission management, with sortie management, etc., briefing, debriefing, and so on and so forth. And we will talk today a little about the qualifications. So once we have it on the screen, we'll take it from there. And also, just to reiterate, Chris' responsibility is actual professional development within the squadron. So feel free to reach out to myself and to Chris, and we will do our best to help. So here we go.
And didn't you say that there's staff positions available for almost every staff?
Oh yeah,
position now?
excellent point. Yes. So first of all, as I assume the command, I have to reassign or appoint for vacant positions new members, and I will send out email shortly indicating which positions are up for grabs. I used to be finance officer for the squadron. I cannot hold both positions. It's in conflict, so Jason already volunteered to become a finance officer for the squadron, and I will transfer my responsibility as finance officer to him. So going forward, today it was the last time I collected the dues. Going forward, Jason will be the person to go for it. And I recently emailed to the squadron 2 members who didn't pay dues on time for any reasons, reminding that it's up for payment. We have limited time remaining in this fiscal year. Let's close this year and move forward to the next one. Okay, so what do we have here? It's a good idea to have certain favorite apps placed on the front screen. Once you log on to e-services, you would be able to quickly access the most frequently used options. And the way to add the apps, you basically click on your settings, go to favorites, and you'll see all the options available in the system. The most common options suitable for all members will be online learning system, of course, otherwise referred as LMS. Please check that off. You're going to use it very frequently. You will need under professional development, I believe somewhere up there, scroll up, I think it's up. Under professional development, things you will need would be professional levels and specialty track. Specialty track is kind of a job you take in Civil Air Patrol. Examples could be communications officer. It could be pretty much anything relationships, aerospace education, and so on and so forth. So please review available tracks, and once you pick something you like to do, you will submit the request myself, and this will receive the request, and we will approve it, and we will help you with next steps. So what are the steps involved in achieving the goal? Certain steps involve simply being on a job for a period of time. Certain steps involve learning something through LMS, or maybe during the SAR exercise, or learning a job. That's another option. Under operations, there are multiple items you want to check as your favorites. Most important would be operation qualifications, and for the pilots and other air crew members and ground team members, WIMMers as we call it. So check those out, and we will dive deeper into operation qualifications section. For finance, for Jason, you'll check off certain items in finance sector and so on and so forth. So every area of your job, of your assignment, has certain applications or subsystems, so you will use through your work at civil, through your volunteering at Civil Patrol. So let's go, Chris, to operations qualifications. The way you can get there, through the favorite tabs, of course, but the other option, if you didn't check that off, would be through the main menu. So you would go to operations and scroll down, select operation qualifications, and it kind of opens a new screen. Sometimes. So here, it got me puzzled multiple times until I got used to it. So you basically click on this red submenu, and it opens up all the options available. So you scroll down to 1.1 part. This is where you're going to see your current qualifications, what you already checked off in your CAP career. So in case we can see all the options, all the learning areas he has covered, and those which have kind of prerequisites which were not fulfilled marked with a star. So Chris needs some prerequisites completed to become mission observer, and he's already mission scanner. He's working on mission staff assistant qualification, MRO, and these are some of the prerequisites which got him where he is right now. And on the right, you have a bunch of abbreviations. Some of them are not very clear, still go showing abbreviations, but if you have questions, just let us know. So for example, let's go to operation qualifications back and go to SQT entry. So once you click on this link, you get to this page, and the functional area is already pre-selected, for example, for emergency services. Things like mission observer, mission scanner, mission pilot, transport pilot, etc. fall under the emergency services category. So here we select an achievement we would like to reach, and we scroll for the one which is of our interest. For example, let's select mission scanner. Okay, so this is the first step a person who would like to become a scanner has to make. They have to submit a request to me or deputy commander, if I'm unavailable, to approve you for this track. So, so let's say, Rodney, if you give your...
Hit the blue bar and all the achievements will pop up.
Okay.
If that's what you're concerned about.
Right. So you go here and you basically, this is the first prerequisite you have to achieve is complete general emergency services training in LMS. And once you complete it, it opens up other options. And age requirement is 18 years. And just simply check that off, specify the date, and specify my cap ID, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Or your cap ID.
Both of these, yeah. The key here, and Mike was very, did very good in teaching me this as well. If you're expecting all of these to fill in automatically when you complete things, that's not necessarily going to happen. So in the case of GES, you'll see how it will autofill. As soon as you complete the GES on the Access Learning System, that will autofill. But when you want the commander's approval, you will need to go in here and actually click in on the date. You don't have a mission ID, but you will need to just actually fill this date in and select here, right? So I'm not going to do it, but
Yeah.
once you do that part, you see at the bottom down there where it says submit. That's all you need to do, because you'll hit that. That sends a message to both Andre and myself and Mike, and one of us will click it through. We'll just double check to make sure everything's filled in. All Squidder entries are that way, just to make sure you guys remember that is, if you've done a task and a set, an evaluator has approved that you've done it, you go ahead and fill that information in, click the box, and hit submit. And then one of us will review that information.
Right. And once you get these items checked off, it will open up these options for you. And then you basically need to spend some time studying the material, and we'll help you with finding the required materials. And you schedule time with actual mentor who is qualified to train in a specific field. In our squadron, we can actually publish on Teams all the evaluators and mentors, so it's easier for you to identify a person. You can reach out to anyone who is qualified, and once you sit with them, you will check off certain items. You will basically go back to this SQTR entry, check off the completed items in your review session, and specify the cap ID of the evaluator who is working with you. And it will send the request, for example, to Mike. Mike will...
Yeah, in this case I brought up mine so you can see what it looks like as you start to complete these. You'll see, since I've completed the first couple parts, I get a training tag in the upper right-hand corner that lets you know that you're in the training status. But as you complete these, they will go green and active. As you complete task, and we'll get to task in a little bit, but you'll see here that there's a date, and then there's a cap ID. That's what we fill in there. That's the person who's evaluating that I actually did that task. Now, it could be Mike. It could be any set. That's if you were at a SARX, it may not be Mike. It may be somebody else. So you have to make sure, and this was something that, our last SARX was a little confusing, I guess. But you'll see it's a little busy. You need to identify the evaluators that are going to evaluate you on your task. If you don't do that when you start, you could do work that doesn't really get counted, and that's kind of a big bummer for us. Because when you go to the SARX, it's a time and investment that you really need to, you're going to spend a day or 2 days there. You want to get checked off on your task. So just keep that in mind. And obviously, you reach out to any one of us, we can help you with that.
Any questions so far? Do you have any questions online? How many people do you have? 4. Okay, and that goes for every specialty. For example, to become a mission observer, the prerequisite is to become a mission scanner. And until you check off all the check boxes in mission scanner specialty, you will not be able to request a mission observer specialization. Similar, let's click on pilot achievement.
See your mission pilot.
Yeah.
Somewhere around here. There we go.
So there are certain prerequisites to become a mission pilot. So first of all, same general emergency services, you have to be a mission scanner, and then you have to become a transport mission pilot, and trickle down to other requirements. So number of PIC hours should be checked off. And the way it's validated, it is validated by you submitting your experience report through the qualifications entry system, which is another confusing element in e-services. We can go over it individually as required. So that's
I'd like to see that.
sure. Let's do that. So here under the mission pilot achievement, you have view upload documents. So if you click there, you get on this page, and when you go to, let's say, there are certain emergency services related items you have to submit. For example, you have to complete emergency services training and receive certificate from FEMA. Once you receive the certificate, you go here and you upload it, and it will actually, you will notice the name changes. So it will rename your file the way the system likes it. And then it sends notification to the evaluator who will review the submitted documents and mark them as valid. Yes, and if we go to the tab related to the pilot, you'll see specific items you would be required to submit. For example, your experience report, a copy of your private pilot license or CFI license, and so on and so forth. So your medical, and you specify the period for which medical is valid. You specify the actual evidence that you completed a biennial flight review, if it's applicable to you. For Chris, it's not applicable because he didn't reach the 2-year period yet. And if we look at some other pilots in our squadron, you will notice how it works. If you complete the FAA wing certificate, please upload it there. It's a significant element which helps getting you on the right track. Yeah, if the wing certificate includes all the activities which actually substitute a flight review, then you don't have to do flight review, and actually highly encouraged from safety perspective. So, Michael, any other questions?
The logbook. Show me the logbook, where you put the logbook in.
For same place, you'll go to the view upload documents under the mission transport file.
Hey, Michael, I already did the logbook
I know,
for
I
you.
want to see them. 145209.
Okay.
Why do you want to see them now?
Well, I just want to see how to get there.
Okay. You go under the pilot. You need to complete emergency services elements. That's probably the most complicated part. Yeah. But it's actually, if you use electronic logbook like for flight one, it creates a summary report. It's perfect. It has all the required line items, how many hours PIC, how many hours PC, and so on and so forth.
You're using paper notebook, just the last page of your
Yeah, you can just yeah.
Remember, if you're trying to do something, you need to see your logbook. Like if I'm the guy that's going to be approving that, I want to see your logbook, or at least that page, or at least that section of the entry. So if you've got an endorsement, I've got to be able to see the endorsement. I see. Okay. Unless I'm going to sit here with you with your logbook and see it, which today in today's world we don't do that much. What to do is to take a little scan of that and upload it, put a little tag on it, so you can see it when I need to approve you, or
Right.
Andre or Chris. So whoever's going to be approving you, it could be anybody in this organization. You got to make sure that you have a document. we can see.
Okay, just upload
And
that
taking
document.
mine,
If there's no document there and you're asking me to do something, I'll usually reject that and say, sorry, no document.
Yeah, and if something is missing, the reviewer will email you and request specific information. Once you complete all the prerequisites and Form 5 check ride is done, you upload related forms to the same area. It will actually go for approval to the wing. And the wing will definitely raise the question if something is missing.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how it goes. And I think we'll dig deeper into every specialty track, every achievement area any specific member would like to work on. And the main point, you have a question, ask. Even as simple as posting it to the teams. I guarantee that I will attend teams channels. I will actually work on making it structured and create designated channels for specific areas. There is already a channel for finance. There is almost empty, but we will fill it in with relevant information channel for the pilots, and we will create one for observers, for the scanners, etc., etc. We will make it as informative as possible. Okay.
Yeah, the part that he is not mentioning yet, which is you're going to spend most time with, and you'll see with each one of these. Let's see. So yeah, if we get to here, you'll see how each one of those has complete task, and then it has a code.
Mm-hmm.
Those match task guides. We have the task guides printed out. They don't change that often, but you can also get them online as PDFs. And one thing that I'm actually thinking about doing, because I saw someone do this at the SARX, is printing the task guide that you're working on. You just basically take that PDF to Kinko's, have them, give you basically like a small version of it bound, and it's great to carry around as you're working on a particular task. So for me, I'm going to do that for Observer. There's also one for Mission Pilot. Yes.
By the way, Vanguard actually does sell those in a miniature book form. At least they used to. So check it out.
I think I did see those. So just take in mind, when you see those codes, you can literally go to the download the PDF. You may have seen it on one of my favorites, and you can just literally search for that particular task. 2003. It takes you right to it, and it'll have a very long-winded explanation for tune a radio channel and use the radio. Okay. That's how the tasks are. So it looks super complicated. They're not. They're literally not. So let's take that.
Another point, we are used to open book testing, right? So all evaluations are open book testing. So if you come prepared, you know how to find information quickly, you're gonna handle it on the spot super efficiently. If you are going on the first SARX and you are flying the actual training mission as a mission scanner or observer, keep it in a pocketbook format. It will help you to find the quick answer to your question right on the spot. And of course, in the SARX, don't hesitate to ask your crew for guidance. That's why the crew is there, and that's the primary objective, to train new members on specific task, specific specialty, etc. And when you come to SARX, very important, bring the printed SQTR. So basically, it will show what you are trying to work on. It will show to evaluator what you have already achieved, what you want to focus on, and help you get things done more efficiently.
You know what? Well, bringing that up, so we keep saying SARX, we keep saying that. Two things you need to make sure. Prerequisites. So I usually will email you guys out for specific types of prerequisites to get done, so you can just get into the system and get going. Do not hesitate to sign up for SARXs, but how do you know when and where they are? If you don't have a COG-CAP email, you need to make sure that the email that you want to use, but we suggest you use a COG-CAP email, make sure that's updated. Make sure you can get into COG-CAP, because it lets you get into PRMA, which is the little tool that you find instructors and sets and all that kind of stuff. But as long as your email's updated, and hopefully it's COG-CAP, you will get emails that say, we're having a SARX. There was just one last weekend. There's an gotta take a, and don't be afraid to sign up for a SARX that's not here in Group 3. You know, some of
Yes,
them
you
might
are
be somewhere
eligible to
else.
participate in any SARX anywhere
California.
in California.
Yeah.
You can go to Northern California, to Sierra Nevada SARX if you're interested and
Yeah.
can get there.
Yeah, the last one was in Bakersfield, right?
You can actually go out of state, but you gotta get permission from your commander to go out of state.
He's
But
not
you
gonna
can
allow that.
participate out of state.
He's not gonna allow that.
What's that?
So
Mike might have allowed that, but Andre, no.
Yeah, but Andre.
But anyways, I want to bring that up because I think for me, had I would have known that a little bit earlier, I mean, and it's nobody's fault. It's just do not be afraid to go do something without the squadron. That's all I'm saying. Is if you know you've got the time and that weekend's clear and there's a SARX going on and you know you need to get this done, just go get it done. Like sign up, show up, get it done.
in addition to your copy mail, make sure you have on your favorite mobile device, on your computer, a Teams client installed. And log in there. We will do our best to make it more engaged and interactive. I will do my personal part on posting known SARX information in dedicated channel. So you will receive notification if you are in Teams client that a new post was made in our Squadron channel in specific area of interest. And if you are not interested in, let's say, ground team related stuff, you'll just ignore it. The other thing I'll do on Teams, I will tag members based on specialties. So we can actually communicate with targeted information to mission scanners, mission observers, etc. For example, I will be doing a proficiency flight this Thursday, given the airplane it stays in service, and I need a mission observer, but it has to be already qualified mission observer to accompany me. So I'll send an email, I'll post it in Teams, and if anyone is available on specific time frame, you are welcome to join me. Okay?
Questions, comments? I mean, and like I said, we keep saying it, you can reach out to any one of us three. I mean, all of us are capable of helping you. Some are capable of signing off.
Yeah.
We can do some of it. But
And we'll help you find someone who is capable to sign you off. And again, it doesn't have to be from our squadron. It can be anyone with proper qualifications. Another important point for us going forward, you may have some ideas on what kind of topics you'd like to cover in our meetings. Shoot an email to myself, to the whole squadron, any way you like it. You can post it on Teams in a general channel, and we will actually find more interesting areas to discuss. We can talk about safety all day long. Innovation is an important factor, but there are many ways to talk about safety. It could be extremely boring. It can be extremely engaging. Maybe we can share some personal experiences related to safety. We can talk about weather briefings. What is your favorite way of conducting a weather briefing? Maybe you do for flight like I am. Maybe you call weather briefer. What are the advantages and disadvantages in every method? Sometimes talking to someone has a lot of value, for example, and so on and so forth. That we are here, first of all, to make these meetings as interesting as it gets. If we come unprepared, well, we may always watch some safety videos from AOPA. If we come with specific topics we would like to cover, maybe we prepare ahead of time and engage our squadron members in an interactive and mutually beneficial fashion. Okay? I ran out of things to talk about.
Pretty easy to do, huh?
everybody's hot. That's the problem.
We're not that hot. I came in here at 8 o'clock this morning, turned the air conditioner on, so we could be comfortable at least. So,
Well, it's the summertime in California, and Inland Empire gets
Turn
hot.
this one back on, but you can't talk over it, so.
Right. Okay. Suggestions, ideas?
So, I just want to make sure everybody knows, it's very, very important that you put your documents inside that system that you guys were all talking about, because it could be anybody that's signing it off, could be the group commander signing it off, could be myself, could be you guys. But if there's not a document in there for us to look at, something scanned, a little, something, then we can't sign it off. And you'll find that people are gonna reject it, you'll have to do it twice, and that's no fun. So always have something, when you wanna have some sort of rating or some sort of milestones, have something in the document section there that's, that you've uploaded, and we can see it, so. Because we can't proceed unless that happens. So if you have trouble with that and you don't know how to do it, get a hold of one of us people that are at least, had to do it once or twice, and then we can muddle through it. The CAP website is kind of convoluted and hard to really navigate sometimes. Don't get discouraged. It's getting better every year, but it'll be a while before it's consistent, so.
Learning management system is good area to start with. It actually reasonably well structured and has lots of answers to questions you may have. Keep trying and don't hesitate to ask a question.
Hey, Chris, why don't you show them the PRMA program
Oh, I can do that.
a little bit?
And the other thing I was gonna
Because
say.
it just got enhanced and we want to show them the new stuff.
And the other thing I wanted to mention too, I mean, I am one of the professional development officers, so getting you through level 1 and level 2 part 1, I mean, that's like the big focus, so that's primarily my focus for everybody who's new, to get you at least to level 2 part 1, and then because that opens up almost 90% of what you can do in CAP. So if you're confused about what that is, when I say level 2 part 1, what does that entail? That come to me, because I can explain all that to you and make it a little bit easier.
Yes, professional development level 1 is pretty easy, and it's self-guided, self-managed. You don't have to attend any sessions actually. You can do it all on learning management system. When it comes to level 2, it gets more involved. It has to be part of actual training session, which could be online, could be in person. So look out for those emails from the wing, from other squadrons, on announcements related to scheduled sessions, and again, ask for advice and assistance how to get things done. PRMA, we talked about it a number of times, but it's a good idea to reiterate. This is something specific to the Pacific region, and I think.
Let me log into it, that is.
Well, sometimes I'm also experiencing issues logging in. I'm using Teams, for example, and Microsoft directory for my work, and it gets in a conflict with CAP.
But
So,
what you have to do is log out of your work one and
yeah,
then
you
log
have
into
to
the
log
CAP
out.
one.
Yeah. On mobile devices, easy. I can actually switch from one to another.
It's
on
another
the
great
phone.
product from Microsoft.
But on a laptop, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Go figure.
Okay,
It's
Yes.
kind of small up here, but
yeah,
there you
So
go.
what we have here, we have states which participate in this program.
That's the Pacific region is supposed to be all on there, but guess who's not on that?
Washington.
Washington's not on that. Guess where our loaner aircraft came from?
From the Washington.
Washington.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
right.
will
we
not be
can't
able
see-
to do told, and
yeah, we
you
can't
will
see
not be able to
anything
look
from
it
the new
up in
aircraft,
this
But
system.
anyway,
I
There's
can't
lots
get
of
to
other
it in
things.
AMRAD either.
what's that?
I can't get to it in AMRAD either.
No?
Mm.
see if Gary can get you permissions. So this is the PRMA program, the Pacific Region, what is it, management program?
So,
Sorry, I can't even see the screen. I'm not gonna go
really?
much.
Can you see that, Mike?
I can't stop, I'm sorry.
Okay. So PRMA, I mean, you know, we mentioned it before. It's not really a mobile app, right? It's actually just a website that mimics an app. But the cool thing is, most of the information that we all need, it's all in here. So aircraft info, and like we're saying, we can't use the one that we actually have right now because it's not listed. But let's look at the one we used to have. Did this one already go
We
back?
can get Zelda, but it's
Wow.
currently in op.
Well, let's see.
Currently now.
Let's look at the one we used to have, right? So that was one we just sent away, right? Or is it still here?
We still have it.
Yeah, 443, Cap 443. Is it up at Border
What is it?
Ports? Cap 443.
498. Zelda is 498. The one we have in the hangar is 443.
We still
443,
have
right.
443.
That's what I was asking. So
As of today, it's still in the hangar.
It's gonna be gone for like 14 days.
Yeah.
A couple days. Taking it for that big exercise up north.
Are they?
Yeah, it's scheduled for like the next 11 days out.
Yeah.
What's the expect time after that, as far as keeping it?
We don't know.
We won't be keeping 743. It'll
No.
be transferred somewhere else.
yeah,
But
That's why we got the new 206.
the old 206.
That's a pun on words, new, right?
That's why they loaned us the old 206. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
The round dial.
I mean, the important thing to remember about
We have
aircraft
an
info.
aircraft to fly. It's a 206.
Yeah.
So
The important thing to remember about aircraft info is you can look up these different aircraft, and the most important thing you're going to look at right away is that color of the icon that you see, right? There's a yellow, yeah, there's a yellow one. So it could be red, yellow, or red. It depends on its mission status, whether it's fully ready for a mission, whether it's partially ready for a mission, or whether it's not ready for a mission at all because something's disqualified and squawked out. That's the primary thing. Everything else right now, the information, you'd still have to go double check it somewhere in the system because it may or may not be useful. Like the Forfight profile, it will not let you download that. Like if I click on it, it'll just usually yell at me and say it's not enabled to import it. So just so you know, that'll be helpful when that gets updated, but who knows when that's going to happen. But you get stuff, you know, where is this? Now, Mike warned me about this. Is that aircraft at Whiteman? That's a darn good question. And PRMA is not the best tool to let you know if that aircraft is actually there. But generally, it's just general information, right? You know, what kind of equipment's on this aircraft. You can kind of see it there. If you're looking for general information on an aircraft, this is a great place to find it. But if you're looking for specifics, you'd probably be better off looking at the AIF on the aircraft, to be honest. But I won't go there. Call signs. So call signs is about communications, right? So for example, our squadron's call sign is 9005, right? And if I punch that in, hopefully, yep, Riverside Senior Squadron 5.
the call sign is for the radios, right? For when you're doing radio to radio work.
Right. So normally I check in for this squadron almost every evening. So it'll get confusing if Mike's sitting here in the comm bay and I'm sitting on my handheld at home. That'll be confusing, but I usually wait long enough to see if he's on. But there are squadron IDs, there are group IDs, there's wing, there's also personal IDs as well. So, and I think vehicles also have call signs
Vehicles
as well.
have them too, yeah.
So if you ever are listening to the radios and you're curious on whose call sign that is, you can look it up there. But more important for most of you is going to be in the check pilot area, right? So I need to find an instructor to fly with me. So I'm going to look up instructor pilot airplane. I'm half looking at Dan over here. But if you need to find someone in this area, this is the first list. Now, it doesn't have to be one of these guys in this area, but you kind of start here, and they have their contact information listed. So
You know, maybe I want to go with Shane. Okay, I can email him, I can call him and text him and say, hey man, I need to get checked out, you know, and it also let you know what they're actually checked out to check you out in. So that's the important thing. So, yes, sir.
I want to ask Bob a question. What's these exercises over Redlands till August 31st all about?
I have no idea. Let me look it up. They've got
Says
the
every
fire,
air-
they have the fire people out there, I know that, with the helicopters working off the west ramp.
Is there still that TFR up there? I don't even
Yeah,
look.
there's a bunch of TFRs up there. The MOAs are been redesignated as TFRs.
Oh, well, when I flew on Sunday, everything north of Riverside was
Yeah.
all big TFR. So
Yeah.
is that
Well,
what
you
we're-
had a fire down in the riverbed, so that created something. You've got something up in the Cajon Pass. I'm not sure what's on that
Ooh.
one.
Good Lord. What's going on up
Yeah,
there?
look at all those red
Wow.
TFRs.
Sorry, we're getting off topic here. Let's find out what's going on.
That's just MOAs.
Yeah.
That's just MOAs and
No.
restricted airspace.
No.
Yeah, but they're not, they're red.
Yeah, on.
And if you highlight them, they say
You're talking about the ones off to the right?
alert area. Yeah, probably the ones on the right.
Okay, that
I
makes
really
more
can't
sense.
see that screen.
If they're shaded red, then yeah, they're probably TFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there were some
They took a
TFRs this
bunch of the
weekend.
MOAs and they redesignated them as alert areas.
Oh, really? Okay.
If I just go
Yeah,
to
they're-
TFRs on, excuse me for interrupting, but if I just go to TFRs
What's
on
big
Four
purple
Flight,
there?
the only
Yeah.
thing you have is Anaheim Stadium
Yeah.
and there's nothing in the Inland
Go to
Empire
the
right
north,
now.
northeast of us.
Well, I was wondering, have you guys, this has been up for like a couple weeks now.
Yeah, they're probably
Whatever this
doing-
is.
It's so instead of worrying about calling to see if an area is operating, it's telling you right there it's color coded, so you already know it's operating.
Well, it's just, but I'm just wondering what it is. That's
Yeah, what's big purple?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Navy's probably doing something out there.
Who's talking?
the Navy's doing something.
There
Danger.
was those
area.
100 drones attacking the Navy planes.
Or errant Cessnas, either one.
Did you hear about that?
Anywho.
Talking about getting off course.
Yeah. So I need to look up an instructor pilot, so there's something, and I know we've mentioned it probably several times. Getting through your Form 5, you're going to need 2 to 4 hours of instructor with a CAP instructor, not any LCFI, CAP instructor, who signs you off to get ready for your Form 5. You'll take your Form 5. You want to take your Form 5 in the most advanced aircraft that you can, because it just checks more boxes. But you still will have to take a Form 5 and an 82 and a 206. I would skip the 172 because I think there's only one in the wing or something like that. And
Well, there's actually several, but we don't fly those.
we don't plan for missions or anything. But if you can get your hands on training on a turbo G1000, 182, or 206, it's your best option because it checks all those boxes all at once. And then all you have to do is find any old version of the other one. So, like I said, it's going to be sad, but yeah, 443 is going to go away, but 443 is not turbo, but it's a G1000. So you get your G1000 182 checked off. You'd still have to find one that's turbo, Form 5 and that. So the first time you do all of these, you got to do the Form 5 in an aircraft that has it with a check that can sign you off on it. So just be aware of that. This system helps you track some of that. Also be aware of the fact that you'll find instructors that are also check pilots. Save your favorite guy for the check. So it's because they cannot be the same. So just be aware of that. So I don't know what else we want to say about any of that.
Another important element, you don't have to use aircraft which is present here. You can go and reserve any aircraft in a wing, essentially. So as long as you can book it and you have a check instructor or check pilot willing to travel with you there, you are good. So you can go to San Diego, you can go to Fullerton, anywhere you can locate the aircraft.
And anywhere you can find an instructor too.
Correct.
Also pretty much the same for a CFI. I was a CFI. Would you do the same process, getting checked out for the aircraft, or how does it work?
Same thing.
Yeah, you have to build it up,
You have to find a
unfortunately.
check pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why Chris is talking to me, because they want me to be a instructor here.
We're trying to get him to sign
Trying
up.
to-
Trying.
It'll make things easier for everybody because the other thing that's important because we got about 5 minutes is the set list. So this isn't a new item for people who may or may not have been using PRMA that much, but the set list, yeah, it's a little. Well, I'll go back for Mike. So Mike and this one right here, there's now a button called set list.
Oh, set list.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
I can't see and I can't hear,
it's
so.
all right. So you go to the set list, and now you can actually look for, well, what am I trying to get checked out in? So like for me, I want to get finished with my mission observer. So I'll go down here, look at mission observer, and now I can see everybody who's capable of signing me off on mission observer tasks. So now, that's one way to look at it. That's obviously it's a huge list of people, so that doesn't seem very efficient. So if I go back again, well, who in this squadron, or in this group, but who in this squadron can sign me off on mission observer? Oh, okay, well, that's a much better list. It's Roy, Lon, Terry, or Mike himself. So when you're looking for completing those tasks that we showed earlier, you'll definitely want to use PRMA to make sure that you're working with somebody, and especially if you're trying to check something off that can be done inside the squadron, this is a faster way of seeing who's capable of doing that for you. That's a recent addition. And they also fixed, so for the longest time, the back button, so if I try to go back a screen, for the longest time that was broken, and they finally fixed that, so that's all good. But yeah, so set list is pretty important now because that was always a confusing thing. There's a way to do it inside of ops quals, and it's fun. I think I've shown it at least once. Before you had the set list there, how to find the set inside ops quals. That's a whole nother thing, but we won't get into that right here. And I think
Theoretically, you could go to the reports menu and get a report of people that are set qualified, but
that's too
it takes a lot
convoluted.
longer to get it through that than it does this particular module.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a very
too.
handy module. This is like my second most used tool, this one right here.
Yep.
And the first one is the Trax program. Those two
Oh,
programs.
yeah, well,
I can do just about everything, so.
yeah, we don't. Trex is pretty straightforward, but we won't do it today because it's I don't have time.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think they added was here the specialty tracks. So again, who's doing what task? And again, I'm going to search by Unix. It's a little bit easier. So just like Andre was saying earlier, who's capable or who's assigned to these different tasks? So obviously we're going to go in here and do a little bit of working around, but you can see, well, who's the comms officers, right? Who is qualified for counter drug and emergency services, that type of thing. So those are new additions to the PCR program, which are pretty cool. Everything else I think we've discussed before to some extent. Questions, comments? I mean, again, we're reiterating a lot of information. So.
Well, these items are something you're gonna have to go over many times because they changed a little bit, and we use them all the time. So just make sure that if anybody has any questions on this stuff, just to go to one of us and ask the question. So I'm available for Saturday one-on-one training of any kind that I'm a set for. So we'll just make an appointment. I come here and we train. I do mission observer. I do mission scanner. I do UDF. I do radio CWEL.
Do we have an external power module in the hangar?
External power module? Yes.
Okay. All right. Because that's one of the things. So as I need to finish some things for Mission Observer.
Right.
Part of that is using the G1000, which if you don't have the external power unit, well, that's not going to work.
No, we have the Red Baron it's in the hangar on top of the black filing cabinet.
Perfect.
And you plug that in and turn it on, and that's what it's for. It's to do in the cockpit training. So.
Perfect. But that's an example, is you don't have to go wait to fly the plane. You can actually do some of this on the ground. So.
Yeah, if you read the mission scanner task guide, when you look up your task that you're trying to get past, at the very end of the task, it'll say setup, and if it says that we can do it inside of an aircraft or we can do it in a Squadron, then you can do it in that. If not, it has to be in an airplane moving somewhere, you know, so.
All right. Well, if no other questions, this concludes our today's meeting. Thank you everyone for attending, and look forward to see you next week.
All right, Andre.